Welcome to US Eagle's first Find Your Balance podcast of 2026. It's a new year, and we're talking about something that can truly change your life: budgeting. Don't worry, this isn't about restricting yourself, it's about freedom and making your money work for you. Most people abandon their budget by February, and we're just here to help you beat that stat. So let's start with something a lot of people get wrong about budgeting. It's not about restriction, it's not about punishment. It's actually about freedom. The freedom to make choices with confidence, the freedom to plan for things you care about, and the freedom to stop stressing over where your money went. When you know exactly what's coming in and what's going out, you're in control. And that control feels a whole lot like financial peace. But here's the catch. Most people don't struggle because budgeting is hard. They struggle because they fall into a few really common traps. One of the biggest mistakes is creating a budget that's way too strict. If your budget feels like a crash diet, you're not going to stick to it. You'll burn out, feel guilty, and eventually give up. A good budget has flexibility. It bends with your life instead of breaking under pressure. Another mistake is simply not tracking spending. You can have the most beautiful spreadsheet in the world, but if you're not checking in with it, it's just decoration. Tracking doesn't have to be complicated either. It just has to be consistent. Even a quick weekly check-in can make a huge difference. And then there's the sneaky one: ignoring irregular expenses. Things like car repairs, annual subscriptions, holiday gifts. These aren't surprises, they're just infrequent. When we forget to plan for them, they blow up the budget and make us feel like we failed. Building and sinking funds or small monthly set-asides can completely eliminate that stress. But here's the fun part. Budgeting doesn't have to feel like a chore. You can actually make it enjoyable. Gamify it. Challenge yourself to hit a savings goal. Celebrate milestones. Track streaks. Reward yourself when you stay on track. Yes, rewards are allowed. The more you personalize your system, the more likely you are to stick with it. At the end of the day, budgeting is about designing a financial life that supports the life you want. It's empowering, clarifying, and when you approach it with the right mindset, it can even be fun. So now that we've talked about why budgeting matters and how it can actually give you more freedom, not less, let's shift into the practical side. Because once you understand the why, the next step is choosing the how. And that's where different budgeting styles come in. Remember, there's no best budget. There's only the one that fits your personality, your lifestyle, and your financial goals. So as you listen, think about which one feels the most natural for you. Let's start with one of the most detailed and hands-on approaches: zero-based budgeting. The idea here is simple. Every single dollar you earn gets a job, nothing left floating around without a purpose. That job might be paying bills, building savings, covering groceries, or even fun money, but by the end of the month, your income minus your expenses should equal zero. Not because you spent everything, but because everything has been intentionally assigned. This method gives you total control over your money. You know exactly where every dollar is going. It forces intentional spending. You're making choices on purpose, not out of habit. And if you're someone who loves structured lists or spreadsheets, this system feels incredibly satisfying. The downside is that it can be time consuming. You're tracking everything, adjusting categories, and checking in often. And if your income changes from month to month, it can feel overwhelming to constantly rebuild your plan. Zero-based budgeting is perfect for planners who love spreadsheets and want to feel totally in control. Next up is one of the simplest frameworks out there. It's the 50-30-20 rule. Instead of tracking every dollar, you divide your income into three big buckets: 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings or debt payoff. It's clean, it's easy to remember, and it gives you a quick snapshot of whether your spending is balanced. So it's simple. You don't need an app or a spreadsheet to get started. It's flexible enough to work for most lifestyles. But if your income is irregular, this method doesn't adjust as easily. And if your fixed expenses like rent or childcare take up more than 50%, the percentages can feel unrealistic. It's great for beginners who want a quick framework without micromanaging every dollar. Now let's talk about a classic: the envelope system. Traditionally, this meant taking out cash, labeling envelopes like groceries, gas, entertainment, and putting the exact amount of money you plan to spend in each one. When the envelope was empty, that was it. No more spending. Today, there are digital versions that mimic the same idea without the physical envelopes. It's incredibly visual and tactile. You can literally see your spending shrink as the envelope empties. It's one of the best systems for curbing impulse spending because it creates a hard stop. It's not ideal for online shopping, though, which is how many of us spend today, and it requires planning ahead, either withdrawing cash or setting up digital categories. The envelope system is perfect for people who overspend on impulse buys and need a visual reminder of their limits. And finally, the pay yourself first method. This one flips the traditional budgeting mindset on its head. Instead of saving whatever's left over at the end of the month, you save first. So as soon as your paycheck hits, you automatically transfer money into savings, investments, or retirement. Whatever's left is what you use for bills and spending. It builds savings quickly because you're prioritizing it before anything else, and it's great for long term goals like emergency funds, home down payments, or retirement, but it works best with consistent income. So if your pay varies, automation can be tricky. And if your cash flow is tight, saving first can feel restrictive. It's ideal for people who want to set it and forget it and let automation do the heavy lifting. Now, let's dive into something that can make or break your budget, the items most people forget to include. These sneaky expenses can derail your progress and cause stress. In fact, nearly 40% of Americans couldn't cover an unexpected $400 expense, often because they didn't plan for these costs. So here's how to make your budget bulletproof. Let's talk about non-monthly bills. Things like insurance premiums, HOA dues, or property taxes don't come every month, but they can be big when they hit. Spread these costs out by saving a little each month so you're ready when the bill arrives. Auto maintenance and repairs. Oil changes, tire rotations, and unexpected fixes are part of car ownership. Setting aside a small amount each month can prevent a surprise expense from wrecking your budget. Medical and health costs, even with insurance. Co-pays, prescriptions, and dental visits add up. Planning ahead for these costs keep you from scrambling when something does come up. Gifts and special occasions. Birthdays, holidays, and celebrations are predictable, yet they often catch us off guard. Budgeting for them means you can enjoy giving without financial stress. Subscriptions and memberships. Streaming services, gym memberships, and annual renewals can sneak into your budget. Review these things regularly and make sure you're accounting for them, or cancel what you don't use. Home maintenance. From replacing air filters to fixing a leaky faucet, home upkeep is inevitable. A small monthly fund can help you handle these costs without dipping into savings. Pet care and hobbies. Pets need food, vet visits, and sometimes emergency care. Hobbies can also come with costs for supplies or equipment. Planning for these keeps your lifestyle sustainable. Donations and charitable giving. Supporting causes you care about shouldn't create financial strain. Budgeting for donations lets you give generously and consistently without stress. Even setting aside a small amount for each category every month can make a huge difference. It's all about being proactive so your financial plan stays strong. And with that mindset in place, you're already on the right path. Thanks for joining us today. Remember, budgeting isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Start small, pick one method, and give it a try for 30 days. And don't forget, you can use the budgeting tools right inside our digital banking platform to make it easier. We'll see you next time on Find Your Balance. Until then, here's to a financially confident new year.